Hello, my name is MiKayla Hulsey, and today I'm going to be doing my interview video. So the first question says, how do you handle a challenge? So the situation was I worked at a daycare while I was in high school, and I still work at it over the summer. But one year they had asked me to take in a little boy in my 4-year-old room who spoke no English, and he was a little autistic. And so they asked me if I would be able to take him into my room and take care of him and handle him along with my other students. And so I told them that I would be able to, and that I agreed to help him and take him in and do the best I could with him. And so he spoke no English, and so it was really hard. The communication barrier was definitely there. And so I began to use hand symbols with him and visual aids to communicate with him, to ask him when something was wrong or when he needed something, and when he was upset or something was bothering him. So I would show him pictures of things to ask him if that's what he wanted, or if he needed to use the bathroom, I would show him a picture of something that had to do with that, and he was able to tell me, like, nod yes or no, and he was able to point to things and show me what he wanted, what he needed, what was bothering him. And so that worked out really well for me. So after I learned how to communicate with him, how to get things across to him, and how to understand what he needed so I could take care of his needs and care for him. And so by the middle of the school year, we were really able to communicate back and forth, and he was able to tell me what he needed when he was hungry or thirsty, when he needed to use the restroom, just by showing me pictures or pointing or making things with his hands. That way me and him would both know what the situation was, what was going on, and we were able to work with each other. The second question says, have you ever made a mistake and how did you handle it? So there was a day at work when one of my co-workers had to leave early to go to a doctor's appointment. And so she asked me if I was able to clean her classroom at the end of the day. Since she was having to leave and somebody else was gonna have to go in there and watch her kids, she wanted me to be able to clean her room at the end of the day, and I told her I could. Well, the day went by and it was the end of the day, and I had completely forgotten to clean her room. And so I didn't remember until I got home that night. I remembered that I had needed to clean her room and I had forgot to do it. So I sent her a message and I apologized to her, and I told her that I had completely forgotten. I was really sorry, but I would take care of it. And so I made sure to get to work early the next day, and I cleaned her room for her before she got there. That way it could be ready for her. There was no trash in there. I swept it, I mopped it, I wiped off the counters, took out the trash, cleaned it for her. That way it would be clean for her and ready, since she had already asked me to do that. And so she was really forgiving, she was understanding, she forgave me, she wasn't mad at me or anything like that. And she thanked me for getting there early to clean her room. She told me I didn't have to do that, but she thanked me for it. And so it all worked out really well in the end. The next question says, give an example of how you've worked on a team. Okay, so over the summer at the daycare that I work at, they host a summer camp. Well, me and 2 of my co-workers were asked to be in charge of summer camp this past summer. So we were in charge of working together to form a theme for each week of the summer and activities to go along with that theme. And so we had to put our heads together, and we began to look up ideas on Pinterest and Google of themes for each week, such as the week of the 4th of July was America Week. So we had to have an activity to go with it, a snack to go with it, and stuff like that. And so we all began to kind of look on our own at ideas and stuff like that. And then we brought together our ideas for activities and themes. And some of us had the same activities and ideas put on there, so we used that for certain weeks. And we really just compared our ideas, put them together, and decided what we wanted to do for each week and how we were going to work together to execute those ideas. So it ended up working really well. We had a theme for each week. The kids had fun. They did activities each week that went along with the themes. They had snacks that went along with them, and everything just worked out really good. So we worked really well as a team this past summer to get the kids together to have fun along with all the COVID stuff going on. So we had to come up with activities that they were able to do while being separated, and so we just worked really well together. The 4th question asks, what do you do if you disagree with your boss? There's been plenty of times. Everybody has times where they disagree with their boss, or something they tell them to do they don't agree with, or protocols they have they don't agree with. And so there's been times when I've disagreed with my boss and things were told to do, or things she believes is how certain things should work out. And so the biggest thing for me is just to not make it personal. She's doing her job, I'm trying to do my job, and there's going to be disagreements. So when I disagree with my boss, if it's a really big concern, I'll bring to her my concerns and how I disagree and what I think, and we'll talk about it, and she'll tell me how she feels and I'll tell her how I feel in a very professional way. We don't make it personal, we just tell our thoughts and feelings, and we end up coming to an agreement to work something out. And you know, it's usually better that way, to keep it professional, and just to not get angry, to not get uptight or worked up over it, just to sit down to discuss the issue, the disagreement, and then just to work it out together. So the last question says, what is a goal you had and how you achieved it? So a goal I had over the past summer was to be able to learn all the names of the kids in the summer camp that I worked at. So there was 30 to 40 kids in summer camp, so it was really important for me to be able to learn their names, to learn about something they like to do or a hobby they had. That way I could really get to know them and they could get to know me, and that way we could work together so much better throughout the summer. So how I did this was, on the first day and for about the first week, we would get in a circle every day at summer camp. We would go around and we would tell our names, and we would tell something that we liked to do or something we were interested in. That way we were able to tie back our hobbies and our likes with each other's names, and it was just easier to learn it and know each other. And so after we did this for about a week, each day I made the kids come in. They would come to my desk when they got there. They would tell me their name. They would tell me something they liked. That way I could put a name with a face, and I could really get personal and get to know them. And then after we did that for just a little bit, they would come to my desk each day, and I would begin to tell them their names, and I would tell them about something they like. That way that way they know that I'm not just listening to them talk, that I'm really learning who they are. And so that was my goal for the summer, was to learn each kid, learn something about them, get to know them. And so I did that by making them tell me their name and something they like each day, and then eventually telling them every day who they were and what they like to do. And it worked out really well. I knew all their names well before the end of the summer. I knew who each one of them were. I knew things they like to do. We were able to talk about each thing they like to do and get to know each other. And so it was just really cool and a really fun way to get to know each other, to make new friends, and that way that they knew that I cared about them enough to learn their names and things they like to do and who they were. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.